Greetings and welcome in, everybody. I hope you enjoyed that clicky ASMR. Welcome to, a recording, which I didn't thought I had clocked out before. I had not, apparently. I'm not ready to be clocked in, unfortunately. But let's get to it, I guess. But yeah, this is going to be one of those, oh my goodness, the fucking headaches. Half days that we haven't had in forever. But we will be doing now. I don't know if we're going to get there in time, but we're going to try. Foxtrot 75 is 1040. Foxtrot 75 is 1040.
Find rescue.
Go for Sapphire.
Hi, Jason. Are you going to the 47 call in the hills or the mountains?
Yes, I literally just woke up when that call came in, so I'm getting geared up and getting ready to go right now.
Alright, I just want to double check with you. We were in the area and just thought to check with you first.
If you want to go ahead and get a quick look at them, I will be on the way. Like I said, I literally just woke up, so I'm grabbing gear right now.
Alright, I'll see you soon.
No, not the wrong. God damn it, where is it? Foxtrot 75 will be attaching to Med 1 and responding. So yeah, I was going to get in. I was hoping Naomi would still be here because Jason saw an IR about her. I was going to, you know, ask her what happened in person and whatnot, but apparently she got off duty from the time I saw the IR and the time... I got into the server. But I hope you're doing well. If you are catching this, I do appreciate you looking into YouTube. As I usually say when I do these quote-unquote half-day ones, I can frequently lose track of things. I'm sorry if I do. I will try not to. So if there is a lot of data error, please forgive me for that. That said, I'm going to focus on this because, you know, we're a little bit behind. We're trying to catch up. But yes, for context, what I was saying, Naomi was in an IR because she was escorting Rosa, who Jason also wants to check in on, because she wasn't named in the IR. See how she's doing. Naomi fell off some stairs in transporting Rosa to the ambulance. So that ended up with Naomi being hurt. And we got this thing rolling. We're not supposed to go this fast, but since we're behind, we're doing it. I didn't know it could get up to 132. Looks like it averages about 125, but the downhills, I guess, is what really get it going. You know, he could have jumped in Angel 2. But I think that would have taken even more time to get going. Med 1's 1023.
Oh, hey.
Hey, what we got going on here?
Yeah, I'll let you check me over, but...
Oh, is it you were the one who were injured?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we didn't know. I found him on the side of the road, and I didn't know if there's medical around, so...
So can you tell me what happened?
I got in a wreck.
Okay. But you never lost consciousness at any time during things?
No.
No? Okay. Did you hit your head on the steering column or anything like that?
No.
Okay, and no pain from getting up and moving around?
Well, besides, like, you know, the
Like-
cuts
like-
and the blast and shit like that.
Right,
No, not really.
minor stuff, like nothing with your arms,
Yeah,
legs, anything
yeah.
like that? Okay. Alright, well, you do have some cuts there. Let me get those treated up first.
Alright.
And what we're going to do is, since you were in a collision, at least you're up and walking. I don't think I'm going to need to do a C-collar, but I would like to do a concussion check on you, make sure that you're okay considering that, alright?
Okay, I'm fine with that.
Okay, got the bleeding taken care of. That's always the first step. Alright, you're not, you don't have any adverse reaction to bright lights or anything, do you?
No.
Okay, if I could get you to take your glasses off, I'm going to be using a pin light.
Yeah.
Okay, just go ahead and follow that side to side as I move it around. I want to see how your pupils react. Okay, that's good. No sign of concussion. All right. Like I said, you don't like feel anything odd with your arms or legs. No signs of breaks or anything with them, that sort of thing.
No.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let me also get you an ice pack for those bruises.
Alright.
Okay, and I'm just going to go ahead and kind of bandage this in place on that worst bruising I see there, okay?
Alright.
Just get this attached here. Also, in regards to the concussion check, just to, you know, go on top of it and do some due diligence and be thorough. Do you know your name?
Yeah.
Can you tell it to me?
Yeah. Tuesday.
What is it?
Or DeQuarius Johnson.
DeQuarius Johnson, okay. And do you know what day it is?
Wednesday?
Very good. Now, I let most people slack on this one because most people don't know it. Do you happen to know the date?
6/25/2025.
Hey, very perfect. And last but not least, you know what state you're in?
San Andreas?
Yep. Perfect, perfect, perfect. Okay. Well, usually when it is a motor vehicle collision, we do suggest someone gets looked at pillbox, but if you're willing to sign a waiver form, we can go dismiss with that, unless you'd like to be taken down to get checked out.
No, I'll sign the waiver.
Okay, just give me a second then.
All right.
Okay, you go ahead and sign there, and basically what it is, it's called a AMA against medical advice, and if you do feel any sort of dizziness, nausea, or if your limbs start to feel odd or pain in your back, neck, or shoulders, we do suggest you get down to pillbox immediately and have a doctor actually look you over. But as long as you're willing to sign there, I don't have to take you down, and you can go about your way.
Yeah.
And that is a legal designation for yourself.
I had to sign with my legal
You
designation.
do need to sign with your legal name, sorry. All right,
Yeah.
perfect, very much, I appreciate that. All right, nothing happened to you, did it, ma'am?
No.
Okay. All right, you are good to go. Let me see if I can do you a favor here real quick. We do not have any PW on duty, unfortunately, so if your car isn't running, they won't be able to help at this time. Sorry
Okay, I
to
can
say.
just go back in.
Yeah, I think the car is okay.
Okay. Just wanted to let
If
you know
not,
in
I
case
can
it
just
did
go
need a
back
tow.
in.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
Yep, no problem. All right. Hope you have a much better day. Stay safe out there.
You too. Thank you.
Hell, if you do have any questions or concerns in future, I'm Jason Langley.
All right. Appreciate it, my man.
No problem. Have a good one.
Recording. Sorry.
Med 1 is code 4, patient released on scene, 76 to RFD. Excuse me. Alright, we will take up that trainee as soon as we get back to base. Only be able to take care of him for about an hour and a half, but that's something. We'll fulfill some of our FTO duties. At least I wasn't the one who hit it. I do hate the fact that those are triggered there every time you come by in the right lane. Be nice to take care of that. Yes, I'm speeding occasionally, but I'm trying to get back to RFD before something else pops off. Oh, that local helicopter is going to go poof. In fact, it was about to go smoosh, but then it went poof. My dude. Oh, well, no light. Guess we can make a left. You know, in real life, how would you be able to see this light? You gotta like constantly look over to your right. Why am I hearing like a chain link fence? That is so weird. Oh. Alright, we'll be putting this away since we're going to be taking out a trainee. Alright. Riley Miller? Wait a minute, are they... Oh, okay. I will be quiet now because I am gearing up with some stuff and whatnot that may be necessary for our teaching.
Hello,
Hey.
I'm Riley.
Oh, nice to meet you, Riley. I'm Jason Langley. This will be your first ride along, I believe?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Do you remember the gear you're supposed to have?
Yes. So
Okay.
I have something in there. Let me go check.
Okay.
Quick question real quick.
Mhm.
I got a page. Oh, no. Okay, I got on duty and then I saw the reply. Never mind.
Okay, no worries.
Okay. Yeah, give me 1 second.
Nope, no problem.
Oh, sorry.
Okay, so you did say this will be your first ride along, right?
Yeah. I
Okay.
got I got what I got before. So I got a radio, first aid, a fire extinguisher, and I got some bandages. Is that correct?
Yep. Um, got your first aid kit.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. It's not required. It could be handy to have a flashlight while you're on duty as well sometimes.
Oh, okay. I
And
need to go get that.
also would not hurt to possibly have a mask, like, like when you're sick, that type of thing, just in case you run into someone who is sick, you can put it on.
Oh, okay. Can I get the mask from there, or do I need to get like one of
Should be
the
able to find it in the wardrobe
fabric
there.
ones? Okay. Um. Okay. Do you want me to get there real quick?
Yeah, why not? Just
Okay.
be safe. This is the part where Reaver would tell me that, I am sitting here staring at her in the locker.
Okay, I got my mask and my flashlight.
Perfect. Okay. Have you ever done any medical services before?
I have, but I'm rusty, so it's been
Okay.
it's been a while.
So then you're at least somewhat familiar with radio communications and traffic, that sort of thing?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Okay. So do you know what the first thing you're going to do when you call yourself on duty?
Yes, 10:41, 10:08.
Correct. And in this case, since I'll be your FTO, I can inform you you will be attaching to Med 1 because we're the only unit in service right now.
Okay. And so I've never really used a radio, well, these radios. So I could just type in 1 on my little keypad.
It's 4 is our
Oh,
channel.
it's 4. Okay, okay.
So do that first of all. But yes,
Okay.
you should be able to just type
And
that
then I
in.
can press like the green button.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And then what? Is that it?
You want to go on radio itself, call yourself 1041, and you're attaching to Med 1, and you can usually give your assault call sign.
And so, sorry, like,
Yeah, no worries.
when you say attaching to Med 1, what does that mean?
So, because I'm your FTO and
Uh-huh.
you're a probie, you're going to always, at this point in time, attach to whatever medical unit your FTO has. So, if there was like a bunch of us on duty and the FTO who takes you is Med 3, you would then attach to Med 3.
Okay. And is that just like, I guess, because I never heard like Med 1, Med 2, Med 3. Because
Oh,
that's not
okay.
their call sign, right? Like that's
It's
something
not a call
different.
sign, so we
Yeah.
designate medical units 1 and onwards, upwards, depending on however many people are around, however many people are using them. You will hear engines referred to as engines, so engine 1, engine 2, engine 3.
Right.
You will also hear a couple other designations, like if there is a rescue in the Chiliad area that we need to do by ground, we will get a contender that will be designated rescue 1, 2, 3, 4, so on and so forth. You will also occasionally hear a Charlie. Charlie is for our CCP, critical care paramedics. So we have a bunch of different ones you're going to hear. But right now, generally speaking, you're going to be attaching to a med unit. And if we did have to go do a contender rescue, we would detach from Med 1 and attach to Rescue 1.
Got it. Okay.
So,
So,
yeah.
and for call signs, do I just say the number? Do you guys do the like E echo?
We usually do it phonetically, yes. So it would usually be echo.
Okay, so I would say echo 112, 1041, 10:08, attaching to Med 1.
Perfect.
Okay.
Just go ahead and do that over the radio.
Okay, let me make sure. I think I have the right.
Yeah, that's the one
Yeah.
thing. You remember what they taught in Academy about you're also going to be on shared, so make sure you connect to shared
See,
as well.
I never ever have used a shared radio, so could you go into that for a second?
Yeah, no problem. And, for that one, if you understand what I mean, you might, need to really fine tune which buttons you want to get because some of the buttons, on the radio.
So there's different buttons on the radio if you want like a main and a shared.
Yes.
Okay.
So you're going to have one for your main and one for your shared. And, if you take a really good close look at your settings in the radio, so to speak, you might find that shared is already assigned to something that may be a conflict. So you might want to look into
Okay.
that.
So which one? Because I know where I like to naturally have my radio in general. So which one do we use more and which one do we use less of?
We always use main, but we do get a fair amount of shared use because we do have to communicate with PD fairly frequently.
Okay, so shared is the one with the other agencies, and then main is just us.
Correct. Main is channel 4.
And so shared is only when, like, we need them, they need us. But when we're like
Correct.
going on duty, it's just me.
Correct.
Okay, okay.
You always want to attack to the main shared when you go on duty. So the secondary radio from your tool belt and the Leo EMS shared is where you always start. And then sometimes we may be asked to join a TAC if we're dealing with PD because they will assign TACs to like situations. But you always start on the Leo EMS shared.
Okay, so whenever I get on duty, I'll put my radio, get on 4, then go and get on shared. In my,
Correct.
okay, hold on. Um. Would you say shared is like a secondary one?
Yes.
Okay, let me kind of play with it if you don't mind.
Yeah, no, not at all. We want you to be comfortable and find what works for you.
Okay. Do you hear that when I touch the button?
I don't have my blips set to here. I don't like it personally. Different people do. Some people find it causes headaches sometimes when they use it. And so it just kind of depends on, how strong their focus is, so to speak.
I didn't know I could do that. Okay.
Yeah.
You said the LEO EMS shared, that's the one?
Is the secondary, is the Leo. Yeah, that'll be your secondary radio. Like, for example, my primary radio, I have the main way, my activation key almost looks kind of like a caps lock on a keyboard. But I also have a secondary for that, which, is kind of shaped like a delete key. Okay. Whereas for me, I just changed up the secondary radio completely, and my primary and secondary is the same, and it's kind of like a plus sign on a numpad.
Okay.
Kind of funny looking stuff, but that's what I went with.
Yeah. Let me what I thought it was for my shared is kind of weird. I'm gonna radio check it. No. Okay. Hold on. Oh, okay. Radio check. Okay, cool. Okay, I think I got them. I might,
10-2.
I might, think about something different for later, but I'll deal. I can do what I have right now.
Well, you heard me when I responded there, right?
I did.
Okay. Why don't you go ahead and do a shared radio check, and we'll see if you come across there.
Oh, that was the shared one.
Oh, okay. That might have been me not paying attention. Go ahead and do the radio check on your primary.
Okay. Radio check?
10-2.
Okay, I heard that. Do you want me to go back to the other one and
Yes.
do it, or?
Yes, please do.
Okay. Radio check?
10-2.
Okay. Do you? Well, no, they don't. Okay. Okay, never mind.
You should also have noticed that you'll hear it coming through on the left or right, depending on which one you're on.
Got you. Okay.
Okay, you feel comfortable with what you got for that?
Yes.
Perfect. Okay. So you said you have done some medical stuff before. Have you done like radio traffic? Like what we were just doing, that sort of thing?
Yeah, I've done like just the basic en route, 76, 23,
Okay,
code 4.
You are familiar with your 10 codes to some degree then?
Yeah. I think I just needed, because I was looking at them and I know I knew them before, but I was like, it was a refresher, so it'll just take a little bit to like be natural again.
Plus, you will find different areas, cities, provinces,
Mm-hmm.
whatnot, do sometimes have slightly different TIN codes, so that can be an issue too.
Yeah. I think most of these are pretty familiar, so
Okay.
that's good.
Well, like I said, then since you got your radio set, go ahead and officially call yourself 41.
Okay.
Don't think so.
Let me think of it real quick. Echo 112, 1041, 1008, attaching to medic 1.
10-4.
Is
Perfect.
that right? Okay, cool.
That was absolutely perfect. So in your phase 1, we will be concentrating on 3 main areas. It will be radio communications, the 311 911 dispatch reply, and understanding the hospital processes. Those are going to be our main and sole focuses now. If any medical calls come in, you will be attending with me and you can observe, but you will not get any hands-on experience yet. So don't try to, get hot to handle patients yet. Just try to hang in there a little bit.
No, totally fine.
No problem. Okay, so let me quiz you then a little bit then, since you said you have done some TIN code stuff.
Okay.
You already mentioned it, but I'll still go over it anyways. If we were routing to a call, like let's say it's in Grapeseed, how would you call us on the way there?
So, question with that. Would I be like my call sign +1, or do I say like Matic 1?
We usually use the designation of our appliance, so it would normally be Med 1, Engine 1, whatever you're in, is what we normally call. Yeah, I know PD does the +1s and usually uses the call signs. No,
Yeah.
we use the appliance. We're piloting.
Okay. Okay. So then it would be Med 176 to Grapeseed.
Perfect.
So, quick question with that. Like if I were to get on, like once I'm like on my own, if I was to get on duty, and how do I know like what my unit
Just
would
ask
be?
when you get on duty. If no one is around, you're always going to be the first unit, of course. If there's like 5 people around, you can go Echo 112 is 1041. How many units do we have? And you'll be informed by somebody on duty that say we have 2 med units and 1 engine. So then you would go to Med 3 if you're solo, or you could even ask around and see if anyone wants to team up, and then you would attach to whichever med unit they are.
Okay.
So yeah, it's literally just a matter of asking.
Cool.
Okay, and then we've gone to Grapeseed. We are arriving on scene in Grapeseed. How you call that?
So just Med 123 Grapeseed.
Exactly. Then we have treated the patient. We have determined they need to go to pillbox. And as you're leaving that scene, what do you call that?
Ooh, wait, one question. So whenever, like in that scenario, so I'm gonna call it code 4, right?
Code 4 is when it is clear. We've
clear.
decided that we need to transport this patient to pillbox.
That was the question, right? What was the question again?
How do you call it when you've decided that you do need to transport the patient? It's going to be just the same. You will now be 1076 to pillbox.
Okay, okay. I didn't know if I had to tell like the radio that I had what I don't know. I knew it was 76. I didn't know if I had to say something else.
There is actually something else. You're right. You know, sometimes I am a brand new FTO, so bear with me.
No, you're fine.
You would also generally state the category of your patient. So I didn't specify that for you, so that's my bad. But yes, you would specify the status of the patient based on the category 123 principle, which is one of our hospital processes. Have you looked that up yet? Are you familiar with that?
I think I'm looking at it as far as like one is like the like most serious
Correct.
one to, and then to three. Yeah.
Yeah, two is someone kind of an in-between state. They're got something worse than minor little walk it off owies, but they're not like critical at this time as of yet. Whereas three is like that person is almost doesn't need to be transported, but you're doing it for one reason or another. Say, like, you want
Okay.
to have a doctor do them a once over, or even though they had minor bruising, they like, well, I want a doctor to look at me. I don't trust you because you're just a paramedic, that sort
Oh
of thing.
no.
I,
Yeah.
I haven't had that happen, but I'm just trying to say that it's something very minor, almost to the point where you could potentially release them on scene, but something
Mm.
inside you is just saying that I want to get them there, but it's like if it's a GSW, they're always going to be at least category 2. Whereas, like, if they fell and tripped and got, like, a pretty minor scratch, but you still wanted to have it, say, looked at just in case you're afraid there might be a broken bone under there, even though you don't see anything, that would be more likely a category 3.
Okay. You mentioned GSW, so would it be because I see it's in one, but would it be a two if it's like, like a vest with bruising, stuff like that?
If it didn't penetrate the vest, it would still probably be a 2. Even if
Right.
it penetrated, if they are in stable condition, if they haven't lost a lot of fluids, if they are responsive and joking, even though it's a GSW, you could still probably call it a Cat 2.
Okay.
Cat 1 is going to be stuff for more
Like in like
critical, where,
organs and
yes,
like arteries. Okay.
right.
Got it.
Or they've lost consciousness is usually going to be a Cat 1. Any type of, if you had to use a defibrillator, if there was any sort of cardiac arrest, that's going to be Cat 1. Anything catastrophic, exactly
Okay.
what the term is, cat for, category, but you could also think of it as cat for catastrophic for 1.
Okay. And so back to my call out, like in its entirety, what would it sound like?
Very simple would be Med 1 is 1076 to pillbox with a Cat 2 patient. You
Okay.
really don't have to go into much detail at
And
all.
so that one, are we just letting that's still on main or
That
because I don't know
is
what
still on main.
is
We
Sam's even on radio?
SAMs,
No?
it depends on the person. Generally, they are supposed to be on Leo EMS shared. I have run into a few who don't. But even though they are on shared, we don't usually contact them directly because of HR 345, patient confidentiality. We might try to reach out on shared if it is a Cat 1 to give them a warning. And that is all you would do. You would keep it to the very, very basic information of,
Mm-hmm.
hey, pillbox, we have a Cat 1 coming in. Can you prepare?
Okay.
But yes,
Otherwise, but it's just gonna be on main.
otherwise, it's just going to be on main because we just
Cool.
want to alert our own units and personnel where we are and where we're going and that sort of thing. So yes, you don't generally reach out to SAMs, like I said, unless it's to give them a heads up that, hey, we have a major one coming in.
And so, okay, so it'll be Med 1, 76 to pillbox with a Cat 2 patient.
Perfect. That's
Cool.
absolutely it. Same thing when you arrive at pillbox. Once again, you are 23,
Mm-hmm.
and then you take care of yourself, and then take care of the patient, I should say. And then when you're done, that's what you mentioned earlier. That's when it's code 4, and you can call yourself back to Nate.
Okay. When you arrive with the patient, do you have to repeat like that you have a Cat 2 patient, or is it good to just
When you
23?
arrive, you're pretty much good just to say Med 1 is 1023 at pillbox. You don't
Cool.
need to repeat the cat. Cat is
Okay.
generally only when departing.
Okay.
Because that's also kind of like it gives others a head up of how badly your patient is, and so people can be more aware of what's going on with you. Like, say, an unfortunate accident happens and someone crashes into you, for example, because, you know, they're street racing or evading
Mm-hmm.
police or being idiots in general, see above. So then we would know, like, oh, wait, they had a Cat 1 and they just lost their ambulance. We got to get another unit there immediately.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Okay. All right. Do you know what a 10-2 code is?
I'm trying not. I don't want to look. I know what it is. It's
Right.
that one oh like the okay, like when you do like a radio check.
It's you're informing people that we hear you loud and clear.
Yep. Okay.
Do you know what a 10-3 is?
Yeah, like stop transmitting on the radio.
Shut your ass. Very good.
Yeah.
Easiest one in the world. Do you know what a 10-4 is?
Okay. Heard. Right? Yeah, acknowledge.
Acknowledgement. Perfect. Do you know 10-6?
Busy. In service and busy.
Service unless urgent.
Yeah.
Yeah. And whereas a 10-7 is?
Out of service.
Perfect. Let me take a pause here, because one thing I should have asked earlier, how do you best learn, in your opinion? Are you more of a hands-on person? Do you like visual watching things? Do you respond best to like me saying things and you just reading along as far as the guidebook is concerned?
Um, it's the series of things, I guess, because like right now, since I like don't really know much at all of how you guys work, I'd probably rather listen to you and follow.
Okay.
And then after that, I'd be good with just watching, but then I would need the hands-on. So I mean, yeah, just kind of the way the
So
phases
you're a
go.
little bit of both, but to start with,
Yeah,
you're more of a
definitely
observer
like
and listener.
observe. Yeah.
Okay, perfect. All right. So that said, yeah, if you need to brush up on the 10 codes, we do have them available. It does seem like you are pretty familiar with them already. Were you ever involved with law enforcement yourself?
I actually was for a little while before I ever got into EMS. So I'm kind of familiar with that stuff.
Okay, well, let me just throw a couple at you here.
Yeah.
Again, you can look at it if you need to, but it's, you know, if you want to test it without
Yeah, I
looking.
do. I do.
What's
Go
a
ahead.
1050?
To vehicle collision.
Perfect. And do you remember from Academy what the difference between a 1013A and 1013B is?
So in I'll start with the B. It's like I'm down, but like it was minor, or it was like an accident, nothing like major, um, so to say. Because then I know that alpha is like I got shot, or
Alpha
um,
is generally a hostile situation,
yeah,
whereas
okay, yeah, yeah.
Bravo is non-hostile, but still, you know, potential
Like I need
immediate
help still.
assessment
Yeah,
right would be good.
yeah.
Okay, so yeah, you do seem very up on your 10 codes. Um, you will find some of us don't always speak in 10 codes, but we want you to know them and understand them, so you know what others who are using them are saying.
Okay.
But generally speaking, some of us, you know, do occasionally do plain speak over the radio, but it is a matter of like I said, you at least need to know it, and you will need to show familiarity with them during your evaluation.
Okay.
But just so you don't get confused, you might occasionally hear someone just go like, "Oh, I'm on my way to that 911," you know. So don't get confused by that.
Okay.
How about the codes? We already mentioned code 4. What's that once again?
All clear. Seems done.
What's a code 6?
That one's like investigating. So you like arrived in investigating. Yeah.
Perfect. And then do you know the differences between code 1, 2, and 3?
So one is no lights and no sirens. Two is lights, no sirens, and three is lights and sirens.
Excellent. So yeah, you're showing great familiarity with these 10 codes. Perfect.
Question. I don't know if this is weird. Do you guys use like Code Zero?
I have never heard anyone mention a code 0. What's
Okay.
that from?
Then
Video?
no, it's just from like somewhere else that I work.
Hmm.
It was just like if I had like a really bad headache or something. I don't know if you guys relay that to people.
We just, yeah, plain speak for that usually, Riley had a headache, I am currently 10-7 because of that, something
Okay,
like
cool.
that.
Yeah.
Okay, so did you just see that alert that came through from a Jacob Ramsey?
Yeah.
Now, we're not going to respond to that because obviously that's gun licensing, that's not one of ours. But if you were to respond to that, do you remember how you go about that in responding to the 311 calls?
I think it's 311R and then his number 264 and then I respond.
Correct.
Okay.
Perfect. You would do the same with 911 calls. Whereas if our alert is a 1047, you can't respond to those. You just have to get on your way and try to get there as soon as you can. But we can respond to the 311s and the 911s in just the way you mentioned. And if it is a anonymous, it's ANONOMW as an on my way. And the anonymous ones will also have a unique identifier coming through on the call, which you would also use.
Okay.
Okay. Have you been looking through your manual a lot when you've gotten the chance?
A little bit, yeah. Just here and there.
Okay, well, if no one told you before, like I said, phase 1, we're concentrating on radio communications, the 311, 911s, and the hospital processes. So maybe you can make like a mental note or even like, put a sticky pad somewhere on your body or, whatever you want to put it.
Let me do a little note. Hold on.
That's your current focus. You won't be moved to phase 2 until people above me feel that you currently understand those things. So it doesn't hurt to get used to the other factors and like flip through and try to familiarize yourself with as much as possible, but that's your main concentration right now during phase 1.
And so you said comms, and then I have hospital processes, and what else?
It's radio communication, 311, 911 responses, aka the dispatch, and hospital processes.
Oh, okay, cool.
All right, now this time of day is pretty slow. Oh, and also to give you a heads up, I don't know how much time you have today. I unfortunately will not be available after Storm, so if you did want to get more of a ride along, you're going to have to get back into queue after Storm, and hopefully someone else picks you up. So just to give you a heads up on that. So unfortunately, not a whole lot of time. But,
no, that's totally okay.
Okay. That said, what we're going to do now is we're at least going to go over to Pillbox. I don't know if we'll have time to get to either hospitals, but we're at least going to go to Pillbox. So you go ahead and you're going to handle the radio comms and let people know we're heading to Pillbox right now.
Okay.
Med 176 Pillbox.
10-4.
I almost lost you.
Oh, sorry. Now, there is a set of keys. You are not to use them unless an emergency comes up.
Correct.
Like we did have it earlier in the week where someone was, being an FTO for a probie, and the FTO had a headache, and they very quickly and very smartly called out, hey, my FTO had a headache, so Med 1 is currently 10-7, and they hopped in real quick and just drove the ambulance out of the way of the road and parked it and waited.
Cool. Okay.
So yeah, that's something to keep in mind. This is the Rumpo, by the way, that we're in. This is the main unit we will be using during your probie phases. It is what you will drive. If a call comes in and a different appliance is needed, your FTO will take over and drive the different appliance. This is the only one that you're going to be using with hands-on once you're into the second and third phases.
Okay.
After you graduate, you can choose if you want to use the Sandstorm or the what's it called, the Speedo. Everybody has kind of a different preference based on different things. The Speedo is the more laid-back, slick, European-looking ambulance you might be familiar with. She is a little bit faster, and because she is more streamlined, she doesn't feel like top-heavy like these Rumpos do. So some people like her because of that. Whereas the Sandstorm is the one that can take the most patients. It can take 3 patients, whereas the Rumpo and the Speedo can only take 2. So some people take that, even though it's top-heavy and kind of drives like this one. They prefer it just because of the extra capacity. But you'll get time eventually to get hands-on with each of the one. You can make your own decision, but just want to let you know this will be the main one you're dealing with as much as possible.
Okay. What do you like?
I have become a fan of the Speedo.
Yeah.
You know, I do think this and the Sandstorm are top heavy. You can kind of feel if you're going just a little too fast, you feel like you are gonna tip sometimes, and that is not a feeling you like to have when you're, you know, worrying about a patient. So yeah, I've become particular to the Speedo when I do medical stuff. I am actually a firefighter though, so I'm generally in an engine these days.
Ah, okay.
Were you one of the ones that got the fire training the other day?
I didn't. It hasn't aligned with my schedule yet. So
Gotcha.
I know
Now-
another one's coming.
Okay. If you hadn't gotten that straight, yes, you do need to at least have a fire cert, because if you are ever alone and a fire call is put out, you do have to take care of it. We are all cross-trained for the basics, but then after the basics, where you go is up to you. And I believe you are going medical side, right? Right. Okay. So yeah, you won't have to deal with them much, but it's main thing of we want you to know the basics to be able to assist in case there aren't any firefighters around and it's necessary.
And so, just curiosity, do you guys have people that are like, are you guys able to do both, or do you have to have a focus in one or the other?
So you are able to do both. Like I said, you have to know the basics at least, but you get priority calls. Like if there are 4 of us on duty, 3 meds and 1 engine, and a fire call comes in, well, we're going to give it to the guy with the engine. We're going to give it to the firefighter. Is the main difference is where you go after your basics. Like I can never become a paramedic.
Okay, that's what I was wondering. Yeah, like
yeah.
you don't. There's not like a two. Like you could do both.
We've had a couple people who have, but it was because the fire department is fairly new still. It's technically, officially, it's like it's been around, but it's like dividing it more seriously has only been a thing for about a year now.
Okay.
So that's the main difference. So we did have a couple people who were grandfathered in, Like, you may see a ranger on duty, R55. His name is Thomas Frost. He recently left the department to become a ranger. And he was one of those who had been around so long. He was an advanced firefighter, but he was also trained as a paramedic because he was grandfathered in.
Oh, okay.
I think Darcy is a paramedic. I'm not sure. She's a lieutenant. If you haven't met her,
I did.
okay. I think she's a paramedic. I'm not sure. Other than her, I think the only one left is Kai. I believe. Well, no, Kai is medical. I thought there might be one other, but maybe I'm wrong. So we may not have anyone like that anymore, but you might come across it.
Okay.
Okay. So this is Pillbox. I assume you're familiar with it at least, right?
A little bit. I mean,
Okay.
yeah.
These are the various treatment wards. We do not lock the doors ever. PD is the one who locks the doors. If you do transport a patient who is under PD hold, you can lock and unlock them to remove yourself, but the initial locking, make sure PD is doing it.
You're talking about these like each individual ones?
The individual doors, we actually have keys to lock all of the trauma units.
Okay.
But we do not do it. It's PD who does it if someone is on hold.
Okay.
But like if you're in here and they lock you in, when you're leaving, you can unlock it to get yourself out. Just relock it.
Okay.
Don't leave it unlocked. It's just the initial locking is done by PD.
Right.
Okay. Right here, we do actually have a clock-in station for us. So if you're here and having transported a patient and maybe have a headache and you're not seeing GPS blips after your headache, you could try clocking out and clocking back in right here to try to get things working. This is also referred to sometimes as lower pillbox. We do transport people being detained here for the majority, but sometimes PD will tell you that they want them in upper pillbox. So they will tell you if that is what their decision is. That's usually when they're more afraid of a hostile situation, like say they've...
1041.
10-4, welcome aboard.
So most patients are brought down here though, right?
Yes, most patients are brought down here. PD will tell you if they want to use upper pillbox. That would be, I was going to give you the example of like, let's say they have called us in to help, but they are afraid that members of a gang are going to try to rescue their friend. So they might want you to take them to upper pillbox. It's also frequently if there is like a mass casualty incident or an MCI, they will usually use upper pillbox for that as well.
Okay.
Okay.
Otherwise, that would be like the discretion of either PD. Do these lock?
Yes. We leave these doors open.
Okay. That would be discretion of PD or like Sam's, but typically we'll just bring them down here.
Exactly. PD will notify you, or you can ask PD when you're taking someone, like, are we going to upper or lower pillbox? And they will make the decision. We've got a simple waiting room right here.
Oh, okay.
Some goodies and the water cooler if needed. Right here in the bathroom, you will find we have access to a small wardrobe as well.
Okay.
We can grab our stuff if we need it. Like sometimes I have just called myself code 4 after delivering a patient, and then a fire will spring up. And fortunately, they do have a little wardrobe secreted away, behind like sliding, secret doors where I can grab my bunker gear and switch into it.
Gotcha.
Now, the rest of the doors are generally kept locked. It's only the outer double doors and the trauma wards that are unlocked, and the front doors to pillbox, of course.
Okay.
This is one of the operating rooms, as you can see. We don't generally get back here. CAT scan, x-rays, that sort of thing. So you're probably not going to come back here very often at all, but I'm at least, giving you a quick little tour.
Yeah. So these doors, do we lock them? Sorry, I don't know what to lock behind me.
If we're finding them open, we're going to leave them open.
Okay, okay.
Another operating theater, as you can see. This is the MRI, once again. Another MRI room, just like the other one. Another operating theater. Here is the one that you may unfortunately have to transport someone to. Yes, this is our morgue. So to get a little bit ahead of what you're learning, well, it is part of hospital procedures actually. It doesn't need to be a paramedic plus to call time of death on scene if it's someone that we're treating in the field. If there is no paramedic on duty, are you familiar with the pager system?
No.
So in our government email chains, if you look through it, you'll find a Saffir Sam's pager.
Yes.
Okay, if you read through that, it gives you all the basic details. So like if you did have someone out and they unfortunately passed during your treatment, you would put in to the pager there is a paramedic available. And don't get too detailed, but you could potentially put something very simple like TOD required. You could also, as well, in that same pager system, if a paramedic does show up and the person is declared deceased, you could then also use that same pager system to say, is anyone available for a morgue intake?
Okay, so this is for like if no one else is around to help me, I can
Right.
page someone that might be able to come into the hospital to help.
Correct. Don't
Okay.
overuse it. You don't
Yeah.
use it for minor things. You don't use it if it's something that you can handle. But like I said, typical things you will see is asking for morgue intake. Occasionally, if there is someone who is got severe injuries and you think that they could benefit from a doctor, or you just kind of have this sixth sense that they want a doctor, you could ask, is a doctor available for a Cat 1 patient? Again, morgue intake is a big one that you're going to see. And last but not least, even though we don't normally bother others of our own staff, if it is an MCI, we have occasionally put in a pager about, hey, we have a X number MCI, anybody available to join call.
Okay. We might get into this later, but let's say it's really just me. There's not anyone at the hospital, and someone needs like more help than what I can do. There's like a doctor here, right, that helps them?
Yes, Dr. Z is the pillbox staff doctor. So we don't normally, like I said, we don't normally call for SAMs for basic things, even if it is a Cat 1, unless you have like some weird sixth sense, almost like, a bolt from the sky hit you and something about this person is telling you that they want a doctor. You could put in a pager for that. But
okay, that's the scenario that I would probably
yeah,
use a pager.
exactly.
Okay.
Like I said.
Otherwise, the doctor here can help. Got it.
Exactly. Dr. Z is incredibly well trained, knows what he's doing, is incredibly good at his job. And yes, we usually let him take care of most things, even Cat 1s occasionally. Like I said, to call for a doctor for a Cat 1, rely on that sixth sense.
And just to clarify, because some of my old workplaces, like I was able to do more. So just to clarify, like all we do is stabilize, like transport, and like that's it,
We
right?
stabilize and transport, and we hand off
Cool.
to Dr. Z or any
Okay.
doctor who's actually on staff. We do not do anything beyond that.
All right. Sounds good.
We like if it is a GSW, we don't remove bullets. That's up to the doctor.
Mm-hmm.
We stabilize that. Stop the blood flow if necessary. Put some medications in them to help stabilize, and then we transport. And basically, it's like, here you go. It's all yours now. Bye.
Cool.
Okay. I've actually never been in this one, but I'm going to assume this is a pharmaceutical lab.
Yeah. No, okay. Yeah.
Yeah, I got it.
Is that it down here?
That is lower pillbox.
Okay. Nothing too crazy.
Nope, nothing too crazy. Like I said, the main one you're going to be dealing with potentially is the morgue. I've
Mm-hmm.
never personally done a morgue intake. I did have someone who passed here in a doctor's hands after I transported him, unfortunately. But yeah, I have not actually done a morgue intake, but I just know where it is. Okay, these are the
Is that
elevators.
our responsibility? Not in like a bad way. I mean, like if they pass in the doctors, like who writes that report?
We just do the report of what we did and up into the point of handing them off to a doctor. Everything
Okay.
after that is all on the doctors.
Okay, cool.
Okay, so if you hit that E electronic button, we can go to main floor.
Okay.
Okay, this is where I always get confused. Left is leading to, there is the main entrances of
Yeah.
upper pillbox. Those doors we do keep locked. Okay?
Yes. Oh, the front ones?
Yes,
Oh, okay.
the front ones we do also keep locked.
So if a civilian wants to come to the hospital, they have to go through lower.
Lower
pillbox?
pillbox.
Okay.
I will give you in a little bit what's the word I'm looking for? We can let people in to upper pillbox. We usually take them in through the lower floor. We could let them in through those doors if they really wanted to. If they are on the ICU contact list of someone and they want to visit someone in the ICU.
Oh, okay.
So we can escort them in if that becomes necessary.
Okay.
Okay, so this is just an office. Now here is one that may be of occasional use to you. This is kept locked, but this is a supply cabinet that we have access to. So you'll see that we can get medical equipment here if need be. We also have a backup personal locker of our own in here as well.
I don't know how to ask this, but like, is that locker like a completely different type of locker?
It's a completely different locker.
Okay,
You put
okay.
anything in a locker at RFD, you ain't gonna find it here.
Gotcha.
Now, me personally, I have stashed the very basics in all of the hospitals across the state. When you have time, you might want to do that yourself. That's up to you, of course. You don't have to, but if you want to, you can.
No, that's smart.
Thank you. Small little laundry room. Nothing special.
Cool.
Another exam room. Now through here, you're going to find one other thing that we can make use of. This is basically a little lounge, but back here, door it's a little stuck. There we go. You'll find we have another
Cool.
wardrobe that we can access through these lockers.
Okay.
Okay. Here is another clock-in station, if need be. Like, if you have issues and you're in upper pillbox, this time you don't have to go all the way down to lower pillbox to get to them. Alright, if we do have an MCI and they've decided they want upper pillbox, we will park out front here, bring the patients in through the doors, and we will head over here to Ward B. These ones are kept locked, and then it is a right turn down to these double doors over here, and this is the general mass casualty ward. Whereas you can see, it's not like individual trauma centers like in lower pillbox. It's all just this one big room.
Out of curiosity, when do they like to use this over?
Generally, when it's a mass casualty incident and there is fear that, like I said, say there's a big shootout and like a number of gang members were involved, and there is fear that other gang members may try to come rescue their friends, this would be usually the preferred place. You will find that there will be PD in here keeping an eye on as many of the patients directly as they can, and they will usually also even have a unit out front watching the doors. So yeah, this is, like I said, this is generally speaking, it's only going to be used for mass casualty incidents when you're dealing with at the very least 3, if not more people than that.
Okay.
Or like, let's say an unfortunate incident happens where 3 gang members go down and 5 PD go down. They're all going to be brought here.
Got it.
Okay.
I don't know if that was locked or not. Should I lock it?
That was not.
Okay.
We got some more observation rooms. Got another MRI. We're not going to go through each of these. So you can just kind of see what each one is labeled. The only other place we care about in upper pillbox is the ICU wards, as I mentioned. So there was the elevators we came through right here.
Oh, okay.
These doors are kept locked at all times. Again, if you have someone who's here to visit someone in the ICU, you can confirm that they're on the MDT report as a someone who is allowed to visit. And we have the various rooms to either side. I don't know if anyone's in the ICU, so we're not going to take a tour just because we don't want to surprise someone.
Okay, yeah. If someone like never got, let's say they just never got the chance to put anyone on that list and they ended up in the ICU, that's kind of just like tough luck, right?
That's tough luck. It is up to them to designate people to be on it, even if it's someone married, if they forgot to list their spouse. And unfortunately, there's nothing we can do.
Okay.
Hey,
Hi,
you okay?
I am fine.
Okay.
Are the doors supposed to be open like that?
They're not open in my eyes.
Okay, never mind. Sorry.
No worries. I'm just giving my colleague here a tour of the place. She's one of our new recruits, so I hope we didn't wake you.
No, I wasn't sleeping.
Okay. Well, if you did need a doctor, unfortunately there are none on duty right now.
No, I'm not the patient. I'm just here.
Okay. Okay. So, well, Nancy can let you out then if you need to go, all right?
Yeah, thank you.
Okay. All right. You have a good day. Yes, each ICU room, if you do bring someone up, you don't have to worry about locking them in because Nancy, they can page her from the room and Nancy can escort them out.
Oh, I didn't know that. That's cool.
Yep.
How did they, like, how would they know? How do I explain Like, is there like a release that so they know like when they're allowed to leave, like
Uh,
when they wake up?
for people who are actually the patient,
Mm-hmm.
they if they're being monitored with a doctor, they can page for a doctor. We will occasionally see that in our 311 alerts that someone is asking for a
Mm,
doctor. We
okay.
can inform them if a doctor is on duty. So then, if they want to wait for one of the main staff, they can wait, or then they can decide to just have Dr. Zelig do the releasing of them if they don't want to wait.
Got it.
Okay? Ready to go back to the emergency room. The only other thing is the roof, which has access to Angel 1 and Angel 2.
Able to transport them. Yeah, we're on the way. 10-4, yeah, we're at MRPD. Yeah, receiving.
This is the receptionist, Linda. If you've taken someone here and they're not on police hold and they needed like some minor help, like an O2 mask because their breathing was a little haggard, and then after Dr. Zelig has treated them, Dr. Zelig is not big on removing the O2 mask himself, and
Mm,
if they ask you to do it, we don't do it either. We just instruct them, go over and check out with Linda, and Linda is the one who takes care of all of the gear and makes sure it's removed and properly disposed of or stored or whatever needs to be done. So once we've used the equipment on a patient, if they've needed it, like I said, it's basically we don't remove it. Linda handles it when they do check out.
I think I understand. Yeah, but
Okay.
even if we put it on,
Even if we put
they
it
get it.
on.
Okay.
Yeah, like I said, so Dr. Zelig will treat and heal patients and get them up to snuff in the trauma units. But yeah, he's really persnickety and he doesn't like touching the stuff we've used.
Got it.
So
Yeah.
yeah, when they check out with Linda, Linda will take care of the stuff.
And just so like, let's say no medical just at all is around. Civilians would just go to Dr. Z like straight in the bed, or do
Yes.
they go to Linda first?
No, they just
Okay.
walk in through the main doors, go into a trauma center. Like if you come over here, you should, when you stand next to the bed in the right spot, see the emergency call, which is basically, just, suggesting that you get on the bed, and from there
Mm-hmm.
you can request the services you need from Dr. Z.
Okay. Sounds
Okay?
good. And then that's also how we would just bring someone here
Right.
whenever
When we
they
have
need
them
help.
on a stretcher, when we come up next to the bed, we can hit that E release on the stretcher, basically emergency release, and
Uh-huh.
it will help get them into the bed.
Okay.
Okay, so that's the basic tour. That covered some of the hospital processes. There's a lot others. Let me want to check. So yeah, if you open your handbook and go to the hospital processes tab, right at the very start, the first thing it's going to talk is about that medical pager system. And it gives you some examples of when we're going to use it. High
So,
volume of call. Oh, go ahead.
sorry, no, with the pager, so let's say I do need that like specific person, let's say someone needs to get checked out, like the spinal example. Um, what if I don't get a response? Like, what do I do?
Unfortunately, you'll just have to inform the patient that it seems no
23, 41.
hospital staff is available right now. So it looks like Dr. Z is going to have to
10-4,
treat you.
welcome aboard.
Okay.
Okay, so you can give it a little time, and also you can tell them that as well, that, you know, hey, we have a pager out. We'll give it about, 5 minutes or so, 10 minutes maybe, because you can't sit here all day waiting for them, unfortunately. And then, yeah, just tell them, I'm sorry, no one's responded to our pager. You're just going to have Dr. Z deal with it. Okay? You'll also see, it does mention as well, you can use it for high volume of calls or patients, like I mentioned, or if you need a specialist, like a fire, or another one, as I mentioned, is the critical care paramedic. That's someone who's like, a step above a regular paramedic. That's if there's someone really, really massively injured in the field and way beyond your treatment ability, you can put that out there, and maybe someone will respond. After that, it mentions the radio communication with SAMs, like I mentioned about earlier. You can do a 311 or 911 depending on the urgency, and then try to get them unshared that one. And then, as I mentioned, you just tell them what cat you're bringing in, and if they want more information, they need to call you. We do not give out specific medical problems over the radio, if possible.
Okay.
But it also gives you the examples of situation communicates, like if you do have a black tag and you need a medical examiner or coroner, or again, like I mentioned, the example of, hey, we've got an NCI coming in, they're going to be going to Ward B. So that way, if they're down here staging for regular patients, they know, oh, we need to move upstairs.
So Ward B, this is what, D? So,
This, most people
or what is it, just emergency?
call this just lower pillbox.
Lower, okay. And so Ward B or upper would be the ICU up there. Not ICU, the, what is it called?
MCI.
Yeah. Whenever you're like the first, not the first, whenever you get on duty and it's like you're the first one on around in a while, do you let shared know, or do you just get on duty?
Generally, we don't let shared know. What we can do, as far as other things we can do with the dispatch system, if you open up, what we'll call your ThinkPad, think about typing into it EMS alert, and then you can actually put out a message. So if you are the first one on duty, you see no one else around, you could do EMS alert. What I like doing when it's me, this is up to you, and I haven't seen anyone else do it, but that's usually because it's very rare for me to not be on duty if there are others around. So what I like personally doing it is I will go like, SAFR is available but lightly staffed.
Okay.
To kind of give people a heads up, that they may need to use local services still.
I think I've seen that's what the EMS alert is, right? Like it kind of comes up throughout the day. Is there any like is there any like preset, or is it just whatever you want?
Some people do have messages, and you can talk to the various people on staff, or you could even ask in our email chain. I know there's at least one that people have shared and used universally. I've just always kind of done my own thing because, like I said, frequently I am on duty alone, so I like notifying them that we're lightly staffed and you may need to use local services. So you can get a couple presets from some of the others, but generally speaking, I just do my own thing each time. It also kind of depends on my mood. I've done a goofy one sometimes, like to toot my own horn because I thought it was amusing. Your mileage may vary. I came up with, if you need a boo-boo bus, we will wee-woo to you.
Okay.
Right, so that sort of thing. So you can, you want to make it at least somewhat professional. You don't want to get too goofy. You don't want to go overboard with it. But yes, you can put a little bit of stylized information if necessary, if you feel it. Like I said, my main one is when we're lightly staffed. I kind of think that's important for people to know, because we have people before going, well, where were you? It's like, well, I was on another scene. I couldn't be in two places at once. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. So we will go over one more thing as far as hospital processes. And it mentions there under pillbox about the MCI. MCIs involving PD with 1095s will be taken to upper pillbox and they'll be placed in Ward B. This means pillbox as a whole will not have to be locked down and placed on bypass for the rest of the state. So like I said, that's mainly with MCIs. That's the general time you're going to use Ward B upstairs.
Let's see.
That would be line 15 of your hospital processes.
Yeah. I'm just rereading.
Yeah. Now, unfortunately, we are running out of time because Storm's hitting.
Yeah.
So we're going to go ahead and head back.
Okay.
Were you going to try to pick someone else up after Storm?
Not sure yet, but if not, it'll be later.
Okay. Because I'm pretty sure Andrew will be around after Storm.
Thank you for all of that. That is exactly what I needed. So.
What? Just everything we've been over so far?
Yeah, no, because I wasn't familiar with any of
Okay.
that. So now I
No
kind of got like a good basis.
Go ahead and call what we're doing.
Oh yeah. Is it? Oh, you guys just refer to it as RFD, right?
Again, personal preference. You will hear that most of the time. Some people even just use base. So yeah, whatever seems comfortable and works for you.
Med 176 to RFD.
Perfect.
7-4.
Really local. All right, we can kind of consider this debriefing on the way back. First and foremost, do you have any questions or concerns or complaints about me?
No, you're good. Thank you.
Hey, no, like I said, I am fresh into the FTO stage, so I know that I may not be perfect at this yet, so I would like to hear any constructive criticism that comes my way.
Well, I don't have any. I think it was pretty good.
Perfect.
You're open to questions, and that's my favorite part.
I like the fact that you ask questions. I can't believe how many people don't ask questions these days. It's like there was a thing about someone saying people used to respond with the phrase, "Why do you ask?" And my favorite answer was always, "In order to find out."
Yeah.
Okay, that said, what we did cover, would you say you feel confident with your 10 codes since you brushed up a little bit?
I think so. I think I need to get my radio confidence back because I think every time I try to radio something, I feel nervous.
Yeah, I can kind of hear it in your voice a little bit. I will admit that. But
Yeah.
it's definitely one of those things. The more you do it, the easier it comes. 100%.
Yeah.
So yeah, if you're a little out of practice, you should get back into practice soon. You will find that. Have you lived in the state long?
Kinda. It's back and forth.
Okay, you will find many people here, if you haven't already discovered it, like honking is a way to say hi when they drive by. So.
Oh, okay. Good to know.
So yeah, don't because we have, you know, these type of horns, you don't want to absolutely blast it, but don't feel bad about the occasional, you know, honk back to someone just to give them a happy greeting.
Okay.
All right. I know it was largely a tour that we did, but we did cover a few of the hospital processes. How are you feeling about those that we went over?
I think for the ones we went over, it's so far so good. I think it's pretty simple. Like I said, I've been used to more before, so I always feel like I'm missing something, but I don't. But it's like a nice, like, relief to know it's nothing. Like, there's not a ton to learn because it's pretty
Right.
like simple, straightforward.
I don't know what your availability is too, but also frequently, just as kind of a little bit of a warning, usually the 2 hours before storm can frequently definitely be on the slow side. So if this is a time of day that you're going to frequently be available, you may not see much action, unfortunately.
And that honestly, I like that to start.
Right,
So,
to get the swing of things, yeah.
But no, it just depends on the day. But I'm mostly probably evening, but
Okay.
some days will be like
If
now.
you're mostly evenings, you won't see me a whole lot. Usually around Tuesdays and Thursdays around this time. Those are my 2 main days I work. Wednesday I usually take as a me day, but apparently I forgot to clock off when I went to sleep last night. And I am not kidding, when as soon as I woke up, a call came in. I'm like, well, fuck, I'm clocked in. I may as well go to that.
Oh, okay.
Okay, let me pull up something here. And just to be completely sure, Riley Miller, right?
Yes.
Okay, we did have no patients, so you didn't get to observe anything. We went over the 10 codes, a little bit of the response system. The response system seems pretty easy. I think you've got that, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And we went over a little bit of the hospital processes along with a tour of Pillbox. Okay, again, any questions that come up on your end once more?
Oh, there's multiple hospitals.
Yes, we have Sandy Shores has a hospital and Toledo has a hospital. They also have local doctors who are quite talented. I'm always forgetting her first name, but Sandy is quote unquote captained by a Dr. Brimmer. I'm blanking on her first name. And Toledo is Dr. Odin. So in your MDT reports, if you want, you can list them specifically if you transport someone to Sandy or Toledo. Some people just still use Dr. Z because Dr. Zelig, aka Dr. Z, is basically like the head local staff, but those are the specific people who care for those particular places.
Okay, sounds good.
Both of those places are smaller, and generally speaking, you're not going to find any of the city staff working out of either of them. Once in a blue moon, someone might. Generally speaking, no.
Okay.
All right, I will get your paperwork finished up then. I will be recommending that you stay in phase 1 because we didn't get to go over everything.
Yeah.
So just so you know, so continue, I would say, to don't feel bad about looking through the whole handbook, but concentrate on those 3 areas I mentioned because that's going to be your main focus for now.
Do we get like tested per phase, or is it just whenever
No,
the
just a
FTO
final
feels?
evaluation.
Okay.
Final evaluation. You will be notified when you do move up through the phases, I believe. Like I said, I'm still new to the FTO process. I think, however, Ryan does notify you when you have been moved up. I think there was an announcement yesterday about 2 of the people who went to phase 2 and phase 3, so probably
Oh, okay.
the same would happen to you.
Sounds good.
Okay. Okay, you can go ahead and detach and call yourself 42 if
Oh,
you don't have
one
any
more
time.
thing.
Uh-huh.
When I, like fly out and stuff, or even just like take little naps, will I come back as like on duty, or if I don't clock
You
off?
stay clocked in unless you
Okay.
clock out.
Okay.
Correct.
Cool.
So if you think you're going to be doing something or don't want to get on duty right away, you definitely want to clock out.
Okay. Cool.
Okay.
Well, thank you,
No problem.
and I'll see you around.
Okay, you take care. Have a good one.
Bye.
Bye.
Hello.
We've got 2 down. No one cares.
You were supposed to shout victim, victim, victim. You're a firefighter, damn it.
I did that yesterday. I'm good for the week. Foxtrot 75 is detaching from Med 1 and will be 1042. Everyone be safe, take care.
Thank you for your service.
That looked kind of painful, I gotta admit.
What was that? Sorry.
I said that looked kind of painful, I gotta admit. Yes.
Do you guys use like a same traffic type of thing?
Yes,
Or-
we do occasionally. Like
Okay.
if he was Med 1 and he's Engine 1 and they're both riding in the same call, Andrew might go 1076 to 911 call, and he would be Engine 1, same traffic.
Or
Okay,
code
cool.
type shit. Kidding, there's no such code.
Got it.
Yeah, like I said, you will hear occasional plane speak, and are you Ocean King? I think you might be familiar with that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, you will hear the occasional plane speak, but we want you to know and understand.
Shit, which one is that?
Gang
Elias,
sign
which one is that?
free. I'm gang signing out 3 times, man.
All right.
Nice
Thank
meeting you, Riley. Take care.
You too.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye. See you guys. And that's it. I hope you guys enjoyed. Take care. I love you. Bye-bye.